Hi, I'm Dia, Myadia, whatever, and I made an NPC system in vanilla Minecraft. And today I'm going to show you what it does and maybe explain a little bit about how it works. Here I am with the setups. Let me just okay. So I'm gonna quickly show you what's in these barrels, show you how this whole thing works. These just give me spawn eggs, these two. I'm gonna demonstrate my whole NPC system. So first thing, NPCs can be any entity. I used Enderman in this other kingdom. This current one is Biglins. Wrong spawn egg. This is just with the NPCs. Their heights get randomized, so we can get a little bit of variety. You don't want to ask why they have gold. Datapacks are weird. Or VS Code is weird, I don't know. That's the NPC. Oh, they're loud. So, this is the trader barrel. Spawn a trader. Bam, we can trade with them. Only using the special currency. Only using this special currency. And we can just buy whatever. And I can put anything I want, custom items, anything. I feel like anyways, that's that. This one, with the paper, has this, what it causes, me to be able to talk to this guy. So, as you can see, his name is the miner, as here. If I talk to him, okay. So this one actually doesn't matter for, oh, it doesn't. Ignore 1 sec. I'm just fixing my code. As you can see, we have random, the miner, hello, the stranger, I love the mines. This is his dialogue. This is his name. And this is just whether it's random or in sequence. So I can do it in order. That's why I had the other paper. Hang on, why am I forgetting how I'm showcasing my own thing? Wait. Right, okay, there we go. So, they call me the miner. Hello there, stranger. I love the mines. They call me the miner. As you notice, it's going in order and looping over and over again. So I can, so like for this guy over here, yes. And what the second message is, if you go too far, it's broken. It was working. It was working. It's this one, execute as interaction basically. So as interaction with this tag, which is how you're able to click these guys. Why is everything breaking the second I try to showcase it? Hello? Okay, I guess something happened when you reset. That's fine. Maybe he had both tags. That's entirely possible. Okay, it is working. I'm so done with this showcase. Bro, okay. Those are my NPCs. Okay, now I'm going to actually explain the code. Because I'm pretty sure it's working, so, yeah. First thing, when you spawn an entity, it does a bunch of things. So it makes itself invulnerable, and makes it so it can't despawn. Just basic things. Then it sets movement speed, jump strength. Basically, just makes it so it can't move. The reason I don't want to do AI is so they can still look around, but I can't figure out a way to make them like not hostile towards you. So if you're in survival, they'll still be a little bit mad, even if they can't attack you. So that's a little bit, but whatever. I actually don't think I need this one set anymore. Right, so that's just some stuff for all the NPCs. Undead, I make sure they can't burn in the daytime. And then if it's, this is a custom tag for like piglins, zombie, hoglins. Basically, if they're in the overworld, I don't want them to turn into zombies. So that's what this is. I'm gonna, for this map that I'm kind of making, I'm planning not to have the nether or the end able to open, so you can't go there. I'll figure out other ways for you to get those items, which I haven't thought about properly yet, but yeah. Make sure they're not babies, and if it's an enderman, then it does the AI, because endermen are hard-coded to teleport, and I hate it and I can't fix it. And like, I'm sure there's ways for me to fix it, which I've tried, but I haven't figured it out yet, so I'm just leaving it on the back burner. I'll figure it out. Okay. Then it does this. If it's a trader, if it's not like an initiated trader, which is just like there's no like villager spawned or anything, then that's what that does. It runs the initialized trader function, which is here. Which is here, yeah. And then if it's a trader and there's no storage block, then it just kills itself. Yeah. Then if it's not a trader and if it doesn't have the dialogue tag, if there's a storage block underneath it, then it runs the dialogue initialization, which basically is how you're able to talk to them. Basically, this guy's not a trader, he doesn't have a dialogue, or he didn't when I spawned him in, but once it's like, oh hey, you have a barrel there, you must be a dialoguer, he dialogues now. That's that. Then for the height, it runs a random value from 0 to 8, which is 9 different options for height. And then it runs the random NPC scale, which is this. And then it adds the init tag, which basically means, hey, everything's set up, I'm ready to, like, you know, I don't need to be fixed or, like, anything needs to be changed. Pretty easy stuff. This one is for my own purposes, but basically, if I just... No, this is the shop. I need just, like, spawn eggs that, like, allow me to just... Because I have them set to Enderman here because I did the Enderman one first, but... Because I can, like... Let's say I put a slab here, and then a trapdoor. It's like, I want this guy to, like, sit and maybe stare at this stuff. I want a guy to maybe sit here at a work table. Then I'll spawn in here. Bam, he sits now. So that's what that is, and I can function stand as well, which means he'll just stand. That's all those do. Just for posing purposes. They're fun. The diagram is a little bit complicated, so I'm just gonna go to the trader first. Ignore that. So it summons a villager. Basically, this just means it can't despawn, it's quiet, it's invulnerable, you can't collide with it, it has invisibility so you can't see it, and then I give it like a fake trade, just like dirt for dirt, because you need an actual trade there for it to like work. It sets the name. That's just like specific stuff. That's not really necessary to the functioning of it. Here, it gets the data of the block underneath it, the first slot. I didn't end up using this. Honestly, I was trying to use macros just like when I was doing it, but I couldn't end up getting this to work. I could get it to work now. I figured out how to do it, but I'm too lazy at this point because I've already hard-coded the 30. So, anyways, it runs this function. So basically, this is like, it runs this function, which basically is just like, hey, all of this could be like 2 functions with a macro. So basically this is just like if there's 4 trades in the barrel, then give it 4 trades. That's basically all it's doing. These are all the same function, just with different like numbers. Yeah, that's all this is. Yeah, this one's pretty simple, and then it adds the tag, so it's basically saying it's finished. A dialog is a little bit more complicated because there's 2 types. First thing, initializes. It summons an interaction, so you can click it. It adds a tag if it's sequenced, and it adds a tag if it's not sequenced. And then it adds a tag dialog initiated. Here, if we go to tick function, if we go to NPC dialog, you can see here as interaction, if it's been clicked, I have a scoreboard to check if interactions are clicked, just for useful things like this. As NPC, it functions the message type function. So basically, that's this. It's not as complicated as it looks. Basically, it's like, oh, if you're sequenced, run sequence, and all the stuff before that. And this one is if it's random, do the random function, and all the stuff it requires. There's some storage macro magic going on. Yeah, so it's fully random. The random function, basically, gets a random number, and it basically I have to do some addition because of where it is in the barrel, and it starts at 0, and it's, yeah. I'm not really explaining anything. Yeah, this one stores basically the random number, and then it runs this function, which I used to talk with both of them. Basically, it just says the message. So this first one would be the name. This would be like the things around the name, and this is the message itself. So if I go here, back to this guy, you can see this thing, and then the name, this other, and then welcome to the, that's the message. It uses it for both of them, so if I go to sequence, basically it's just doing some checks to make sure that it's not gone higher than the amount of messages that there are, the number. It's honestly a lot. I've forgotten what I've written here, low-key. This one is after it's hit the end of the counter, how many dialog messages there are, and then it resets it back to 2, because remember, slot 0 is how much, slot 1 is the name, slot 2 is the this. So it ends up actually running more to 3. No, right. Because when you click it, it will go to 3. Because I'm pretty sure, right, it adds 1 first. So it would be at 3 by the time it runs this function again. The reset basically just like sets a score back and then says the goodbye message. Yeah, it's not like, if you know what you're like how to code, it's not that complicated. But if you don't know how to code, it's really complicated. But again, aren't all coding projects, so yeah, that's basically my thing. This honestly is not a tutorial. I don't know why you would watch this as a tutorial. I don't know what I'm doing. I just do silly little things. Oh my gosh, it's still broken. Okay. Yeah. Bye.